members of XR Women. Please join me in welcoming Agarwal, a visionary technologist and industry leader whose career spans over 2 decades at the forefront of innovation in telecommunications and software development. From her early work wireless communication protocol stacks in CDMA to 4G technologies to leading groundbreaking IoT Verizon, Schweta has continuously transformed complex systems into practical, high-impact solutions. Her current work focuses on integrating emerging IoT devices with cloud platforms and advancing computer vision applications, all while ensuring these innovations align with the technical rigor and scale of Verizon's network. Schweta is not only a high-energy problem solver, but also a passionate member committed to shaping the future of tech. She shares her expertise wisely, serving as a judge for elite hackathons like MIT Reality Hackathon, where we met, Harvard Hack Harvard, and Tartan Hack at Carnegie Mellon. And she holds senior memberships with both IEEE and IETE. Today, she joins us to share insights from her incredible journey and explore how AR, augmented reality, and IoT, the Internet of Things, can converge to create smarter, more connected futures. Welcome, Schweta. Welcome. We're honored to have you with us.
Thank you, Paige. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all of you for joining from the different time zones and from various locations. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Paige, for giving such a beautiful decorated introduction about me. I really appreciated all your help and support during this whole process. You are such an incredible person I have ever met. Thank you. I would like to thank XR Women, all sponsors and great audiences for providing me this opportunity to speak on this platform. Thank you, guys. So my name is Schweta Agarwal, and as Paige mentioned, I'm an SME for IoT domain and have more than 20 plus years of experience in designing, developing, and launching various software solutions with multiple IoT devices, telecommunication solutions, and smart energy metering solutions. Today, I will be presenting my takeaways, my outlook, my learnings from the professional experience which I got by working on these different technologies and different work streams. So thank you. Thank you so much. So this is the agenda. Yep. So as part of this speaking opportunity, I will be covering what is Internet of Things, what is augmented reality. Then we will talk about what is the value proposition and the market growth in IoT and augmented reality. What are the various use cases where we can use these two technologies together? What are the challenges when we actually bring our customers on board and when we integrate these two technologies? What are the various kind of challenges we come through? And what are the potential solutions we apply and make these use cases work for our customers? Then last, we will talk about what are my takeaways or what is the conclusion I get through after working on all these technologies. Last but not least, we will be keeping some time for question and answers. So that's how I'm planning to present my session today. Yep. Okay. Thank you, Paige, for going to the next slide. So what is IoT? What is Internet of Things? IoT is Internet of Things. So as its name suggests, IoT is a network of various hardwares connected to each other, send the data to Internet. Now, if we talk about what are the IoT devices, Like you must be using it in your day-to-day life, but you don't know it is actually an IoT device. So these could be some sensors, these could be actuators, these could be gateways, or in AR, VR, we use all these assisted devices like tablets, or we have these goggles. These are the IoT devices. Now, how this information or who is using this information um, from these sensors or these gateways. So what these sensors or these devices do, they collect the telemetry information and transfer it to the end destination. It could be a cloud application, or it could be edge server which will be processing this information, or it could be an application which runs on your premises. Now we have seen or talked about what are these devices, who are the consumer of these data. Then the question comes, what is the use of this information, what we are sending through these devices, and it is coming to the application. So basically what these applications do, they use this information or data to do the real-time monitoring and control. For example, you see in our homes, we use this real-time temperature, humidity monitoring, and there are so many other monitoring and control happens for the various use cases. There could be some this data or this information can be applied with the help of machine learning. So what it will do, it will take this data, we will or we apply these machine learning algorithm on these data and make the informed decision out of that. This data can be fed also to the AI to train the data model, which is no more future now. We are running into AI and we are using these informations. So this is all about what is IoT. Now, how augmented reality plays a role there. So what is basically augmented reality? Augmented reality basically presents the digital information in real world format to enhance the user experience such that they can connect the presented information with the real world. Why we need this real world perception? So basically, AR create an immersive experience which stays on human brain for long lasting duration. Since it stays for the long lasting duration, so it enhances the efficiency and the productivity of the complete flow or the complete information which has been grasped by the end user. Can you go to the next slide page, please? Yeah. So this slide talks about what is the value proposition and market growth. As you see this slide, I have taken from market.us. The slides talk about how the market is being forecasted for the future generations, or say after 10 years from now. So if you see in 2023, in 2024, the growth was not so high. It was just going slowly. But if you see in the later years from 2027 to 2033, we see an exponential kind of a growth. It's keep on increasing. It's not only for the hardwares. Hardwares means IoT devices. It is also including the growth for the softwares. For example, we are using this augmented reality softwares, we are using this machine learning softwares, we are using this AI learning softwares. So this market is keep on growing. So now, if you don't go very far, you would have observed this change is happening near to us in our day-to-day life. For example, you would have seen in your homes, we have this security systems. In every house now, we have this security system. We have these cameras. They have AI enabled into it. We have these water leak detection sensors in our basements to check whether water is being leaked or not. We have this temperature and humidity management systems in our homes. We have so many other systems like you would have experienced. These are keep on sending the information and we are using this information. So if we see these numbers are increasing and it will keep on increasing as the future grows. So the numbers which I was talking about, the examples which I was giving you, those were the household examples which I was talking about. But if you see from the enterprise perspective, these numbers are very huge. Now, most of the companies are promoting automation. They want everything to be done remotely. They do not want to spend more money on the human visits. They want to save cost. So all these things are bringing the growth in IoT and as well as into the virtual reality world. Can we go to the next slide page? Okay. As I was talking about that, what are these two technologies? Augmented reality and IoT. These two are the two powerful technologies. But when you integrate these two powerful technologies together, it leads to an innovative advancement. And in this slide, we will be talking about how these two technologies are working together in various fields and how they are changing the life. What are the different use cases we are seeing in the real life with our customers and it's being implemented. So let's first talk about manufacturing and engineering. So if you see in manufacturing and engineering, we have big and complex machines. It is for any manufacturing company, for their operations to run, it is very important that these machines keep on running at the regular time, and there should not be much faults. If any fault come, then it should be solved instantly, so that there should not be any downtime. So how does it happen? So make their machines running all the time. It is very important that their technicians has trainings. So how AR and IoT is helping in trainings, I'll explain. So nowadays what companies are doing, they are using the 3D interactive models through which technicians are getting trained on the various part of machinery. They can visualize what is the design of the machinery, what are the different components of the machine, what are the different parts of the machine. So if you see in this image, on the right side of you, there is a technician who is using AR goggles. And with the help of it, it can see how the machine looks like, how the shaft look like, how big is the shaft, how big is the wheel, what are the different parts, where is the grooving happening. And all this information is happening with the 3D models. Earlier, what used to happen, companies used to send their trainees or technicians to factory, and they used to visit the factory and get an idea of how the machine looks like, if suppose something happens, how it needs to be fixed, and all these things used to happen with the human visits. Or they used to have the prototypes or the small machines in them in their training areas to teach their technicians. But now with the help of this AR VR models, these things can be done and it could be possible very easily. Now, the second potential use case which we are seeing and working with so many of our customers is the digital twin. So what is digital twin, or how it is happening in remote monitoring and predictive maintenance? This is a very useful use case, is being used by many companies. So what in digital twin, what companies does, they put various sensors on these big machines. And with the help, so what happens, they already have the 3D models, and with the help of these sensors, they keep on getting the data from these sensors, and then they overlay this information or the telemetry information on the 3D models. For example, one of our customer, he is using vibration sensors. So what is happening? This vibration sensors keep on sending the vibration information to the 3D model, and it is attached to a shaft. So consider a scenario when the shaft is going through some wear and tear, or there is some breakages happening, then this shaft respond or send the telemetry data with the vibration information which does not fall into the normal range. With the help of that information, technician or the person who is doing the remote monitoring of the machine, it can identify that this shaft is not working as normal and it needs to be replaced. This is one part of the information. Second part of the information, with the help of 3D model, it can find out which particular part of the shaft needs to be replaced and what is the time by when it has to be replaced. So that is called predictive maintenance. So with the help of these kind of digital twins, companies are saving a lot of money in remote monitoring and predictive maintenance. Earlier, how it used to happen, every 5 months or 6 months, they have to send a person who used to go some run diagnostics on these machines, and on the basis of those reports, they used to predict by when the maintenance has to happen. But with the help of this digital twin, it has been reduced a lot, and we are saving a lot of money on that. And many companies are moving towards this. There's another customer which is using this digital twin. That is a company also in manufacturing, and they want to see like they use lot of power, like current, electricity, and they want to measure how much utilization is happening, how much power they are using it. So for the power monitoring, they have some sensors, current monitoring sensors, which they apply on the wires, and as well as they apply these temperature sensors on these wires. So what happens, since they are a very high voltage current wires, so this information comes to the model, and model sees this information, and these temperature sensors sends the information about the temperature of the wire. Suppose in case, because of the because of the high current, the temperature increases and it could bring the factory down. So to avoid such kind of things, they do the predictive maintenance, and they see if suppose temperature is really raising high, then they shut off that machine, for instance, send the particular person or technician to do the repair, and then they can bring the line back on the routine. So this is the second use case which we have talked about. There are so many other use cases like quality control or assembly line optimization. We are seeing many companies nowadays are doing this quality control via computer vision and AI, and it is keep on evolving at a very high rate. So there is a customer who wants it. Yeah. So there is one of there is one of our customer who wanted to do this quality control and assembly line optimization. So it's just a simple use case. What they wanted to do, they wanted to reduce human power in that process, because it's a mechanical method and it's a repetitive method. So what they have done, they have applied, or they have installed some cameras into their facility. And what this camera does, it knows that in every packet, 5 items has to be kept. So it sees this information and verify whether all the 5 items are kept. And secondly, it verifies that none of the defective item has been kept into the box. So with the help of this, it detects all this information on the basis of the data model is loaded into it, and it identifies which is a box can be shipped to the customer, or which box is having some erroneous material and cannot be shipped to the end customer. So this is few use cases which we are using in manufacturing and engineering. Let's go to another domain, which is an agriculture domain. This is the domain in which we are seeing a lot of momentum is happening. So how these big companies do this farming and maintain the farming condition. So there are so many sensors already available in the market. What we do, we put these sensors into the farms. Such an example that there is a sensor which can tell you what is the soil condition, what is the pH value of the water there, how much wet is the soil, whether it is muddy, whether it is dry, whether it is ready for the seeding or not, whether the proper nutrients are there in the soil or not. So these kind of sensors send this information to the cloud application, then cloud application overlay this information with the help of AR/VR models, and then give the informative, and user can take an informative decision on the basis of that. If you see in this picture, there is a field shown, and in that field, it can identify which part of the farm is ready for seeding and which part of the farm is not ready for the seeding. So that's how they can do the remote monitoring of the farm condition. If suppose there are some insects or something like that, they can also get these kind of information with the help of these sensors without the actual visit. Similar kind of maintenances are happening for the livestock health, and where they keep the farm animals. they can do the temperature and humidity monitoring without going to that particular stable or those places. They can remotely manage how much is the temperature, whether it is good for their animals or not, if they have to increase the heat or they have to decrease the heat, whether they are is there any wrong gases in the environment. They can measure some organic compounds are there in the environment or not, which could be harmful for their cattle and all this information, and this remote monitoring can be done with the help of these IoT devices. Let's go about the healthcare domain. Healthcare is another field where AR and IoT is being used predominantly. Everybody knows this, how surgeries or trainings are happening. So if you see what surgeons do, surgeon can use these VR models to plan a complex procedure. So what they do with the help of the scans, they take the scan of a person, and with the help of that scan, they create 3D models. And with the help of that 3D information, while doing the surgery, they overlay this information on the real picture. And that's how it helps them into the surgery. And with the help of these IoT sensors, or you would have heard about the robotic arms and all, the surgeries are being taken place. In fact, there is a hospital which I was reading about. They are doing the vein detection with the help of these AR glasses. So what they do, they scan person's hand, and with the help of these glasses, they can find it out where are the veins, and if they have to withdraw the blood, they can doing with the help of this vein detection. I wanted to highlight about a very useful use case in which the remote patient diagnoses are happening. So as we all are aware, in hospitals, there is always there is a lack of staff, and nurses comes on the regular basis to the customer to take their vitals. So how hospitals are using these devices, they are putting it on the patient, and on the regular interval, their information will be sent to the nurses and doctors, such as it can be taken, their BP, blood pressure can be taken, their temperature can be taken, their other oxygen levels. All this information is being collected on the regular basis, and it's being sent to the nurses and doctors and nurses analyze this information, and then they send whenever something has to be taken care. So if you see, this way we can manage their time better, and these nurses can be used for the critical patients if we can utilize their time in that way. So these are some use cases which we are going through and helping with our customers. Can you go to the next slide page, please? Thank you. So we talked about the use cases. Now, when actually we implement these use cases, what kind of issues we are observing and we are facing, I will talk about this in this slide. Any questions so far? Okay. So what are the challenges? If you see in this whole IoT solutions and in this AR, VR, what is the mostly used information? It is data. And we all know that data is very sensitive because it is being stored in the devices and it is being transferred over the internet for the processing. And what kind of data we are using? We are using the data related to people, related to business, related to locations, environmental conditions, everything. Each and every piece of the data is very, very sensitive. And we have to use this data very carefully. So when we receive the devices, we have to find it out. Thank you. Yeah. So when we decide any use case implementation, so we have to decide that. So we have to decide what kind of devices we are using, what kind of chipsets we are using, what kind of protocols we are using, whether they are secure or not. If they are not secure, then we do not consider those to be using in those use cases. there are some challenges about the vulnerabilities. Nowadays, what is happening in the market, everybody wants to bring their solutions very fast. And how they are doing it, because there are open source code is available. Everybody is looking into the open source code and utilizing those open source code in their application. But as an engineer, I know these open sources are always not secure enough. They have some vulnerability in that. They have some security issues with that. So while taking any of the new open source code, it is very, very important that vulnerabilities has to be checked. Third, and the most important thing which I see for the various use cases, especially when IoT is overlays with AR and VR, network delays and latency. So if you consider a scenario in which only suppose a home, which is sending its temperature and humidity information on the regular interval, it is normal. You do not need a very good network to be there because you are not continuously transferring the data. And if there is a little bit delay of a second or millisecond, it should not make any difference. So these are non-real-time use cases. There are other cases, other use cases which are real-time. For example, you are giving a training to a technician, or suppose your technician is remotely analyzing or diagnosis of the machine. Then in that case, the network's delays has to be very limited. The latency should not be there. For the better diagnosis, the delays and latency should be very limited. So while deciding the use case, you have to decide whether you have to do it over Ethernet connection or you have to do it over the wireless connection. If you are using over the wireless connection, there are various kind of wireless connection, various kind of network connectivity. For example, for IoT devices and the non-real-time devices, you can use the Cat-M1 connectivity. But if suppose you are using devices in the real-time scenarios which really need a very less latency and very less network delay, then probably you have to go to the 5G connections, or you have to have Ethernet connection, or you have to have MEC servers for running the applications. I'll go about the battery hungry devices. This is also a very important aspect when we are designing the AR VR functionalities. So if you see, our devices are battery hungry. All the devices are running on battery. If you see the IoT devices, sensors, actuators, these are also running on batteries. If you see about tablets, assisted AR VR goggles, they are also running on the battery. So it is very important when you are deciding or designing a system, you have to take care that what is the need of this use case and what kind of battery, how many battery utilization you have to do. Third is up-to-date device firmware. In case of IoT, it is a very important aspect when you are thinking about to deploy a use case or deploy a solution in the large market. So whenever you decide or devise or implement a solution, devices has some firmware on it. You deploy the devices into the field, but later point of time, you see some vulnerability fixes, or you see some security fixes, or you see some features has been added. So those firmware needs to be updated on the devices. So it is very, very important that you design your system in such a way that in the field you can update your devices. It should not be the case that you send the devices to the customers and later point of time when you have a new firmware or new software for those devices, you need to send technicians to update those devices, or you need to do the RMA. RMA means you have to return those devices, do the firmware upgrade in the factory again, and then send it back to the customer. So these are very expensive and costly solutions. We should not go for it. We should always bring in the FOTA management system for all these devices. The last one, but not the least, it is very, very important that nowadays we see there are various assisted devices and there are various frameworks. So if we want that the smooth, everybody use similar kind of solutions and can use the different systems, then all the solutions should work interoperable. They should be having some interoperability, and they should use some standard methods so that all these devices can talk to each other and all these different frameworks can be used. So the next slide, if you can go to the next slide page. So this slide talk about the potential solutions. What are the potential solutions for the problems which I was mentioning before? So for the data security, generally we check if we can keep the certificates on the device. These certificates verify whether the device is certified or not, or whether it will verify as well as that this device is certified, and to the application which it is connecting to, that is also certified. So that way we make sure that the two-way handshake is happening and the whole system is secure. We also use a different encryption mechanism so that when the data is being transferred over the internet, it is encrypted and secure. For the vulnerability, it is very, very important whosoever is using the open source code, they should run the security scans. There are various scans available such as Black Duck, Sonar Cube, and there are many others are available which needs to be run before you are taking that open source code and integrating with your system. And in fact, it should not be at a one-time job. It should be the regular interval. So every 30 days or 90 days, whenever there is a change happening or you are taking a new version, it is very important that these scans needs to be run. For the network delays and latency, we have talked before. You should use the better or the latest hardware chips so that these latency can be reduced. You should select the correct network connectivity like Cat-M1, whether it is 5G or you have to need Ethernet connection. All these kind of things needs to be taken care while talking about delays and latency. If your application is very, very sensitive and it cannot handle the latency, or it should not have a latency at all, then edge computing is a good solution. And via edge computing, you can get a very good response time. For the battery hungry devices, it is possible that you can decide what are the hardware devices you want to see. But another solution is you can put some power sleep modes on these devices. So it is not necessary that all the time these devices will be sending the data. So what you can do whenever this device has to send the data, it just power on and send the data, and for the remaining time it goes to the power sleep mode. So that's how you can save lots and lots of battery. So while we are designing the system, we always give a very much focus to this particular part. For updated device firmware, we have talked about the FOTA server management, and FOTA management has to be decided in the beginning of the solution designing to avoid the problems in the later phase of the product. Interoperability, so that all the systems and all the machines talk to each other, all the frameworks talk to each other. We should come up with the universal standards and common APIs. If we use all these things, all these solutions, then we will definitely have a good solution which can be useful for the organizations, and we should not see much of problems. Paige, can you go to the next slide, please? Okay. Yeah. This is my final slide about conclusion. So as I was talking about, I'm working in this domain from last 20 years, and I have worked on various solutions. After working on the solutions and seeing the market trends, talking with the different vendors, talking with different product teams, customers, I see that there is an exponential growth in this market, and this market will keep on growing. There is nothing that which is going to stop it. And as well as if you see, this is IoT and AR. With the help of combining these solutions, if user is using such kind of solution, it brings a lot of confidence in learning, because this information stays for a long time, and we can do the things more confidently. We know what is going to happen because we have all the information to take the informative decisions. By using these systems, definitely there is no second thought about it. It is reducing the cost. it is improving the product qualities, definitely by reducing the downtime, because we are doing the predictive maintenance, we are doing the real-time monitoring. And in fact, in some cases, what we can do, we can execute some exceptional scenarios which are not possible in the real time, and we can get ready about it. If suppose such kind of scenario happen in the future, how to handle it and how to solve that problem. So these are the positive things about this thing, but there are some challenges which everybody know, which can be solved. For example, by implementing the open standards, and security should be the highest concern. And we should design the systems in a more secure and up to date. So that's all what I wanted to share with all of you. Can you go to the next slide page, please? Yeah, thank you, XR Women once again, and all the sponsors and great audiences to listening to my thoughts about and learning about my professional experience and outlooks. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.